What's up, guys? Welcome back to Libertalia Game Supply. This week is going to be different because I have no idea what I'm doing with this deck. So I guess my idea, instead of not having a video at all, was trying to explain myself and then letting you wonderful, brilliant people of YouTube tell me what I'm not understanding, because the deck is good, or functional at least. I know that because people have used it against me successfully, but I can't really figure out what I'm supposed to do with it. So perhaps you could critique the list, you could critique some of my thoughts on how the deck's supposed to interact with itself and with other decks, so I can understand this, because it's really starting to get frustrating. I'll start by mentioning that I understand that playing the triple Mystic Mine is probably the better way to play the deck if you want to win, but I don't like Mystic Mine, so I don't want to play it. But yeah, if I was going to play it, I'd probably just cut this stuff out, I suppose, and play something else, but I don't want to play it. So I understand, you are correct if that is the argument you're going to make against me. I agree with you, but I just do not wish to do that. So Triple Ray makes sense to me. It seems to be the best normal summon in the deck, really the only one. I guess Rose too. Rose just seems like it's good for recursion. I don't really know what else you're supposed to do with her. So the one Hamp I was not really a fan of until I figured out that you could just search your Hamp, use it as a Kaiju to tribute something on their side, and then use your Widow Anchor to steal it, so then you get it on your side, so it can kind of clear the board a little bit. I think that is more or less, it's meant to be like a Kaiju type monster. I guess you could summon it to your side of the field, but that would shut down your ability to use pretty much all of your effects, I'm understanding. So I would probably put it on their side to shut off a monster that's giving me trouble, run through whatever effects, and then steal it away if I wanted to attack with it or whatever. And then instead of playing Mystic Mine, it seems like it's meant to be very control based, so I just wanted to play the hand trap version. So triple Ash, double Ghost Spell, double Crow, double Veiler. They just seemed like they were the kind of the better hand traps of the format. I got the one Imperm down here. I would 100% cut that if I knew what to play in its place. That is the only reason it's here. I guess I could play an Upstart. I had an Upstart in here earlier and then cut it for something, I don't remember what. The Imperm, I've just figured it's a staple in everything, so we'll play it. This thing does seem pretty busted, this linkage. So it special summons to your extra monster zone, but you have to send a card you control as cost. The cool part about it is you can chain it to the activation of any of your other spells, and then send that spell as cost. So you could like activate your terraforming, search your area 0, but you could chain the linkage to the terraforming to send it as cost to special summon, and then you still get the search off of terraforming. And it works that way with everything in this deck. I don't think there's anything in here, I guess other than multi-roll and area 0, that need to stay on the field for their effects to function. So this thing's pretty cool. It seems like a pretty big playmaker. Widow Anchor just steals things, so I like that. Shark Cannon banishes out of the graveyard, and then it can special summon if you have the requisite number of spells. I believe it's 3 on everything, and it's a quick play, so it's kind of similar to like DD Crow and Called by the Grave, where you can manipulate their graveyard if they're trying to target stuff with it, with that extra effect of being able to just put it on your side of the field. Ultimately, what I have decided upon is if I'm stealing stuff, I'm only stealing it because I'm trying to link up into this stuff down here, so that's my thought on that. Multi-roll, I have not figured out what I'm supposed to do with this exactly. It seems like it's kind of just a spellbook of judgment, like it refills your board after you've used a bunch of Sky Striker spells each turn, which is pretty cool, and then it protects your Sky Striker spell activations, which seems cool but not super combo efficient, and I'm not sure if this is meant to be a combo deck. So that's the thing that I'm really having a hard time with understanding, is it seems like you're focusing on only having one monster on the field, but you don't really have that many things that protect that one monster from not being dead very quickly. So I don't understand what the goal is meant to be. I suppose I could just decide on one myself and build it that way, but I want to understand how the deck is meant to function, and I'm just not understanding, like, once you've put your one on the field with very little attack and an effect that does nothing to lock the opponent down, what do you do on their turn to not just die? Gage, I really like that alt art, sick. This thing I do understand. So search as a Sky Striker card, and then you can draw one if you have 3 spells. I also found that you can loop it with Kagari, so you would activate, search the Ray, summon the Ray, summon the Kagari, grab this back, activate it again, search Linkage or Widow Anchor or Hamp or whatever you want, I guess, and then use the Kagari to make Shizuku to then get the search in the end phase. So it's kind of like a little loop to put some spells in your grave and get a couple searches. I think that's accurate. I think that's how you can play the deck, or a feasible way to play the deck to try to get something going, but yeah, don't know. Hornet Drones makes the token, and it can have 1500 attack and defense. Token kind of just exists for making the links, I suppose. Afterburner at 1, that just pops a monster and then potentially a spell or trap. I could see this being worth it at 2. I didn't want to play 2 because I suppose instead of the Imperm, I'll just play 2 of that. 2 is fine, I suppose. I didn't want to play 2 because it's a little bit of control. So I suppose if you time what you're popping correctly, you can shut down plays, but I just don't understand. Then the Area 0 has that mill effect to search a Sky Striker card by milling 3, and then it replaces it essentially with 1 card in your hand, and then the card in your hand that you selected will go to the graveyard. I do understand that you could send this off of Linkage, so you could activate it, use its effect to do, the mill, chain the Linkage to send this, and then you get that search effect or the special summon effect for one of these. So I guess that's a cool little interaction. Terraforming, just to search the Area 0. Then the triple copies of triple tactics talent. Damn, that's a hard one. I saw a lot of people playing it online, so I tried to play it myself. The draw power options in the deck don't seem super great outside of this thing, unless I'm just not understanding something. Like, I tried Prosperity for a little bit, but it just sucked to lose a bunch of these monsters because it seems like you cycle through them pretty fast. Dyers is a similar issue. If you start losing out on this stuff, you're kind of losing the stuff that makes the deck run. So I just went with the talents for the draw, plus it's got the other optional effects. The one Rotor to search the Ray, the one Called By because it's called by, the one Change of Heart. I just wanted to play Change of Heart, and it works in this deck because you're just trying to, like, in one turn, if you can, link climb up into this thing, and then if possible, because it's a big beater and a ton of removal, so the Change of Heart seemed like it would help with that goal in mind. Steal a card, link it away right away. Yeah. Feather Duster for some back row. This I'm also not super sure about. I guess ultimately the idea would be that it essentially searches any Sky Striker spell in your deck by sending it to the graveyard, and then you would just make Kagari to put it back in your hand, which seems good, but it just feels like there could be something better here, especially with this, because this does nothing if you draw it. It's just a brick, and it only exists to put a spell in the graveyard if you need the spells in the graveyard, or the extra draw if you need the extra draw. That's also what I'm not... So if I draw one of these turn 1 and not this, but I need, like, my Engage or something, would it be better off to send the Engage to search it and possibly draw this brick later, or do I want to send this right away to get it out of the deck? But now you've burned a card on an effect that does nothing, essentially, other than put 2 spells in the grave. But yeah, I don't know. I just saw this. I got the idea from a Kali Effect video, so I figured I'd try it, and I just don't know what to replace it with. And then the one Imperm I kind of explained previously. I think for the extra deck, I got a pretty standard lineup. 3 of the main 3 that you're going to use most often. The 1 Kana, the 2 Zeke, and then the 1 Dark, the 1 Unicorn, and the 1 Access Code. I like the Unicorn just as an option to spin something off the board and then climb up 1 extra time into that Access Code talker and start removing stuff. So it seems like a nice little tech. I would leave it in there. I've seen other people not play it, unless there's a different card you think would make a bigger difference, but it's 1 slot, and I can't really think of anything that would be that much better. And then the side deck's kind of whatever. Cyclones, Regekis, Dark Holes, Lightning Storms, and there can only be 1. Ultimately, it just seems like what I'm gathering is you reset your opponent's board and then try to build control. And then if they build up another board, hopefully you're able to interrupt them as they're doing it. And if they don't, you reset their board and you try to maintain control. So I'm struggling and I would like some help. If you've got thoughts or suggestions, other cards that should be in the deck, things that I'm just not thinking of, or like different lines of play that I haven't mentioned here that you think would be valuable for me to know, I would absolutely love to hear in the comments down below. I would appreciate it greatly so I can learn how this thing functions. It's been out for years now and I just never took the time to try to figure it out. So thank you for listening to me ramble about things that probably didn't help you much, but hopefully it helps me and then helps us as a community, because you can read those comments down below too. If you like my content and you want to see more of it, make sure you drop a like, maybe subscribe, hang out a little bit. Every Friday we'll throw a video up pertaining to deck building, and then I'm trying to throw some other stuff in there too. So right now I think I'm going to post a video on Monday about a goal that I have set for the week of Black Friday in terms of sales on TCG Player, and I'll explain all of that in that video, and then we'll do another one the following Tuesday after Cyber Monday stuff ends. We'll review how all those goals went. So I think that'll be interesting, and if you're interested in the selling aspect of TCGs in general, predominantly Yu-Gi-Oh, but I also sell Magic and Pokemon and a little bit of sports, those might be some interesting discussions. I know I'm probably not the #1 authority on this stuff, but I've been doing it for a while, and so I've got some thoughts and ideas, and I'm excited to share them with you. Hopefully it's beneficial to somebody. But thanks again for hanging out with me for a few minutes here again on this beautiful Friday. And I will see you guys in the next video. Happy deck building. Have a good one.